Welcome to my podcast, which is all about changing your business and money reality. This is your master money coach, Dr. Gaurav Deka, and you are money. Hello, my friends. How have you been? So this is a really unique episode that we are bringing to all of you because I was contemplating the last week that what can I do new? What can I do next in my upcoming episode that would really take the world by storm? And then I thought that I could bring three of my favorite coaches inside ATEPS. And the unique thing about them is they are all from my city, the city where I was born, the city where I grew up, Guwahati. And of course, I have a special kind of bond, a special kind of love for, coaches who come from Guwahati, because I know that, the struggles that I faced while I was growing up in Guwahati, never knowing that I would ever become a therapist, an alternative practitioner, a coach. My only ambition and goal was to become a doctor, but then, to come from that city, a small town, at that time at least, now Guwahati is, of course, a metro, and then moving into this profession and then traveling into different parts of the world and finding out the possibilities of being a coach. And today, I happen to be a business coach, having come from a small city, a small place like Guwahati, and I'm able to make the impact that I always wanted to make. I'm able to make the contribution that I always wanted to provide to all the people around me, and I'm able to have a sustainable $1 million business that I have with me. And so I also wanted to encourage people and show them and help them learn that all the limitations that we give ourselves about coming from a small city, we must belong to a certain part of the world. We must, have certain kind of privileges, educational, monetary, and otherwise. And how all of these, we think, are the reasons because of which we succeed in the coaching world. And I wanted to disprove them. And I wanted to bring these three brilliant minds in this podcast who would actually tell you their story of coming from Guwahati, taking their journey to become coaches, successful ones, how they got inside ATEPS, how it changed them, how they are able to not only make great money now, but also are able to provide great impact. And the myth of belonging to a small place that cannot make money, or people who belong to a small place cannot make money, people who are brown who cannot make money, people who come from, a different background like history or political science or geography who cannot make money by becoming coaches. We want to break away and dissolve all of those myths that we have. So I want to open this episode by welcoming three of my brilliant coaches. The first person here is Dimli Mohanto, and she happens to be a self-love coach. And then we have Alankrita Bhuya. So Alankrita is, she's a transpersonal coach. She also works with regression therapy. She works with family constellation. And then we have also one of the founding members of ATEPS, Suniti Barua. And Suniti has a business called Iska Wellness, and she's also a practitioner in the realm of, she's also a psychologist, and she's also a practitioner in the realm of transpersonal psychology, regression therapy, family constellation, and she combines all of that into her own unique way of coaching. So I'll go to each one of them, but first I want to move to Jim Lee and then cover her up, and then move to Suniti, and then go to Alankrita, right? So Jim Lee, welcome.
Hello,
Welcome to the
hi.
episode.
Thank
Hi.
you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me here. And It is really so exciting to be amongst all these brilliant minds, and to do a podcast with you is like it's a wow factor for me. Thank you
This is
so
the
much.
first time we are bringing like three people,
Yeah,
on You Are Money, and of course, it's going to be my first time, and it'll take some kind of brain work to coordinate the voices. But I hope I'm able to, do justice. So, Jimly, you have a very, very interesting background.
yeah,
Um,
I do.
I know that you come from geography, right? You have a
Yes,
background in geography, and then you were working, if I'm not wrong, in one of the most prestigious universities in Guwahati, which is Cotton College,
yes,
right?
I
Now
did.
it's called
Yes,
Cotton University,
yes.
and then this journey of being a self-love coach. And
Mm.
what fascinates me, Jimly, is because when I was studying to be a medical doctor, I had no idea that I could actually pursue a career in something like regression therapy or attachment trauma or intergenerational trauma. I mean, that world was not even visible to me. It was beyond the scope of my imagination because it was not a context. And then
Right,
I see someone like you know who comes from the realm of geography, and you were a professor in Cotton University, and now you are a self-love coach, that too being a Guwahatian.
right.
I would want our audience to know, especially those audiences who right now might be listening to this episode sitting in a place like Patna, or someone who might be sitting in a place like Elipi,
Yeah,
or someone sitting in a place like Ludhiana or Udaipur for that matter, and
yeah.
imagining that, oh, I wonder if I can be someone like them,
Mhm.
right? I would
Yeah,
want I would want them to know about your journey.
yeah. Okay. First of all, yes, I had always, like always been an academician. Like I had been working with students, and there was always interactions involved. So yes, I was a student from Cotton only, and in Cotton, Cotton College got it's an university right now. Then I was working there for 1.5 years. Then I loved my work. It has nothing to do with like I hated my job or something like that. No, it was nothing like that. But then there was something within me which was not giving me a soul satisfaction. The satisfaction was not there. I loved interaction. When I'm teaching, there is nothing that's in my mind. It's completely pure knowledge which used to go. Then after I left Cotton, I went back to Bombay, and in Bombay also I was in the international school. There also I was imparting. But something happened in my life, in my personal life, and that's the reason which hit me so hard to look within myself, that what is that one thing that really gives me happiness. And it's nothing but connecting to people.
Right.
It's nothing but like imparting. It's something that like the person can be like in that after you speak to that person is just mom, and you're just that person is already
In
experiencing
a
a
state of
breakthrough.
awe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And how I came to know about that strength of me was when I am a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism.
Hmm.
So we do that practice involves three things. It involves study, it involves chanting, and it involves shakubuku, which is like you have to talk to people regarding your philosophy. So when I have seen me doing the shakubuku, that means talking to people when I was in my worst state, when I was in my depressive state, and people got actually breakthrough moments in that. And I
Right.
never knew that it was a power that existed within me.
Right. And that too, as you said, in your most in the state where you found
Yeah,
yourself
yeah,
in a vulnerable state when you were
yeah,
broken,
yeah.
right?
And my philosophy used to say that you have to do more when you were in that stage. And that's how actually I knew that I was healing.
Right. And also by working with people, there is an
Yeah.
effect that you could, in a way, borrow from them as well, by which
Yes,
the
it
more
was
you
like,
people you met, the more you healed.
yeah, it was like a two-way effort. Like when I
Hmm.
started to see other people's pain and they shared their pain with me, it was like I considered them as equal,
Yeah.
like, and it's like I considered my pain that it's okay.
Hmm.
It's okay. People go worse than this. And how,
Yeah.
if, what if I give my energetic presence? And what if, like this life gets empowered? This life gets, gets out of this situation. So
Hmm.
that's how I saw the niche that I could click to the coaching thing, the coaching.
Yeah. Okay. So now I get it, how, how self-love became
Yeah,
your
yeah.
niche. This is a very, I think, beautiful way of also telling people who are listening to it, that how we discover our niche. We don't decide our niche.
Right. And I have never decided my niche. And it was like, as if it was like I was discovering a new version of me, new
Hmm.
version of me, which was like, it was so exciting to see myself blooming. And like every new day it was like, oh my god, I'm a new person today. Oh my god, I know this also. So and it excites me so much when people in my container, when they join, they come with a blank state of mind and they don't
Hmm.
know what they want. And
Hmm.
when they started to see their own brimming potential, and
Hmm.
that's when they find themselves in full of energy and
Yeah.
lots of potential, and they're
Yeah.
like, I can do this also, I can do that also, I want to work over my health, I can make money, I can do this. I used to love this in my school,
Yeah.
I can pursue art also right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how life should be. Like it should not be perfect, it should be imperfect, and you were like making money, you were just living your life. And that is the vision that I always had.
Right.
Always had.
Right.
I always wanted to be that wanderlust person, you
Hmm.
know working from any place in the
That
world.
I want. Yes.
Yeah, and I can take my laptop along with me, I can conduct my sessions, I can roam around, I can make money from any place of my
Any place
world.
that I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is still my vision, and I'm still working on it. And I'm always like, the moment I want that I need to take rest, I will take rest.
Yeah.
The I will be invest. Okay, this 2 months I will be not working, I will be only investing in my mind. This is what I do. So yes, this is purely self love, and this is what my complete coaching is.
Self-love coach. And in that respect, Jim Lee also tells us that how did you discover um, the kind of coaching package that you give? Because we had a discussion sometime back when you said that I work with people for 3 months
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I can see that in my kind of work, I am able to bring maximum change and transformation in a period of 3 months, right?
Yes.
So, and I want to tell everyone who is listening to this episode that we have our own um, structure of structuring sessions. Someone can work for 6 months, someone can work for a week, and I usually work for 6 months when I was doing one-on-one work. But then I would want people to know, how do we actually, as unique coaches and unique individuals and working with a unique set of clients, how do we structure our packages, or how do we structure our sessions? What is the secret behind your structure?
So 90 days, that is 3 months, works best for me. The
Right.
reason why I'm telling 90 days, because I have also taken my coaching and I have seen myself grow in
Mm-hmm.
that 90 days time period, because it was like a beautiful bond that I had with my coach. And like it was a belief that he showed to me that I can do it. And I was like, somewhere there was that energetic holding of space. And then the And in the initial stages, we decide the goal, and then we work together for 90 days time period. So 90 days time period is a brilliant time for inner transformation to take place. Even after 90 days, there are clients who have joined again,
Like
and
they've renewed their,
yeah, they have
contract
they
with
have
you.
renewed because we have fresh set of goals,
Yeah.
like fresh set of goals. It's not that like most of them has covered almost every goal, and like there were brilliant testimonials regarding those also. And I have seen them growing from like that, like from that worm to a butterfly, that
Yeah.
stage, and then ups and downs. And you will need your coach uh, along with your clients. So that's what happened. It's completely a collaborative effort, and 90 days works very good with me because I can really access the growth of the person, and even that person also can see that where I was 3 months back and where am I now, because it's completely changed their mindset. We work on the mindset,
True.
and
True.
we work on the mindset and looking inward,
That time
looking.
is basically the time so wherein people can see visible changes by working with you,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And I also want to like point out, as Jim Lee said, that sometimes we will discover the structure by actually working with people more and more, and then we look back into our own process and we realize that, oh, this is what works best for me, right? Instead
right,
of
right.
pre-deciding that this is how it is going to be like.
Yes, and people have asked me, can I do a short-term package? And it's like, no for me because it doesn't work for me. Like
How wonderful.
that.
I mean, uh, that's something that really resonates with me, because I just make one offer and
Mm,
that's it. Instead of, it's very tempting at times to tweak your offer, or decrease the number of sessions, or increase, or whatever that is, or in other words, give discount. But then what happens is then that becomes a pattern, and you are not able to bring the transformation that you can bring to your clients.
exactly, exactly.
In that respect, Jim Lee, I also wanted to like know from you, because right now you're in Guwahati, right?
Yes, I'm in Guwahati.
And you have clients from everywhere, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I have clients mostly from Assam right now, but I
Yeah,
had clients from Delhi as well.
right. So I would want to know how people in Assam, in the Northeast, respond to being coached or working with a coach, and again committing for 3 months, and on top of that, people in Assam um, paying money to get coached. So that would be like a unique thing for me and for the audience to know, so that they can also start believing in their geography, believing in their demography in their city. So please tell us about the response of people to getting coached, to paying money.
So, it will surprise you. Most of my clients are from Assam only. And I was actually,
Wow.
focusing on working, more. And that's why, like, I have never, it never came to my mind that I will never be able to expand even in Guwahati.
Wow,
Never.
that's a very
It's like,
empowering thought.
yeah, I never ever thought about it. It never came to my mind. I was like, from here only, I'm going to make my life. Here only.
That I'm so sorry, I'm like cutting you here, but I want to know specifically, what is the deliberate thought that you have when you think that this is where I mean, this, I'll expand it here itself, right? What's the deliberate thought that worked for you?
I just believed in it. I just believed. I just believed in the fact that I'm going to make money from here. I'm going to
Wow.
grow from here. I'm just going to, like scatter from here.
Yeah,
And
spread out.
along with,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll just spread out, and it is necessary. It is necessary. And in the best tool that I have, this is what I have discovered in COVID, that if people can, when I was I was teaching in a school, I have learned new like teaching tools and all. So like that was completely a new thing for me. Like internet's always freaked me out, but technology
Yeah.
used to freak me out. Okay, but I was like, wow, That's so impressive. If like people can discover new tools in teaching, how about I stick to one place and I can, radiate from there here. It
From
doesn't matter
there.
whether you are in Duliajan. I am from Duliajan. I'm from, so I if I stay in Duliajan also, I can also, like spread out. If I am staying
Wow.
in, you just need an internet service, and that's
That's
it.
it. And of course, your belief, you need
Yeah,
an
my
internet
belief
service, and you
and
need to
my belief,
think,
of course.
you need to have a DTB, a deliberate thought building, a set of beliefs that helps you to do that. So tell us a little bit about the demography of your clients. They come from different parts of
Yeah,
Assam,
yeah, yeah.
and what is their response to, your pricing?
Yeah, so people have initially, when the only thing that I have started was from the moment I have started, I have kept a complete, like structure that this should be my pricing. That makes little, I have seen it's a type of clients that come.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a certain amount, like certain many people inquire, and sometimes prices go well with them, sometimes
Hmm.
prices doesn't. But then those who really click, they never even question themselves that I why are you charging more or something like that,
Hmm.
because they know they also can see what they are getting.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, and right now, for 3 months I'm taking 75, and people are still paying me 75.
So
Okay,
75,000
75,000
for
for
a period of 3 months,
3
75,000
months.
rupees, for anyone who is listening outside India, it's almost close to $1,000,
$1,000, right?
right?
Yeah.
For 3 months. Yes.
Yes. So, right now, and people are saying yes to it.
Yeah. And that, yeah, amazing, amazing. I mean, that's so good to hear. Some in a place like Guwahati, things are
Yes.
happening. People are not just aware, not just becoming aware to the idea of self-love and getting coached to experience their own love for their self, but then, you know, there are multiple people, right,
Yes.
who are choosing this at this moment.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Jim Lee, also tell us, you know, because I know, this must have been such a great movement for you as it was for me,
Yeah.
from coming from medicine and moving into psychology and then going into, I mean, it was still uh, a track that one could understand, but for you, it was even like a wider track, to come
Mm.
from geography and being, a professor and then being a self-love coach. In this whole journey, how has your definition of self-love
Mm.
evolved also while working with people? Because there is an element of, as you said, Buddhism, right,
Yes.
which
There's
came
a
from my own journey and going through a really difficult, tough time, which is true for so many of us. Like, I don't know one single coach who
mm.
became a coach because they did not have a personal turmoil, and
Correct. Of
people
course. Yeah.
discover people discover what they can do and the highest potential by going through a personal turmoil
Mm.
or tragedy
Yeah.
or trauma,
Yes.
like I experienced. So
Yeah.
how has this whole arc evolved your definition of self-love, and how does it keep on evolving inside your coaching while working with clients?
You know, the only thing that I have seen, deep down, we all love ourselves, but we don't know how to actually choose ourselves, and we do not choose ourselves. We love ourselves. And at times we get irritated when people poke us or something like that. That's when what happened to me. So I had never choose myself. Okay, for
Hmm.
this time, I have started consciously choosing myself and saying yes to things that somewhere my soul was craving.
Yeah,
My soul was craving for expanding in spirituality. Okay, that is self love again. My soul was craving for exercising. That is self love. I'm taking care of my body. Okay, and my soul is right now craving for having a financial target. That is self love. So initially,
amazing.
when my journey has started of self love, it was more connecting to my body and my soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And it was like in the healing time, healing, it was deep empathy for me,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I had to consider myself as another separate being who had also gone through turmoil.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That was my healing experience. And the moment when I have started seeing myself as this person who is right now standing in front of me, and
Hmm.
this person also deserves all the love, all the respect, and I need to give it. And
Hmm.
that's the time when I have started evolving in different ways initially. So my last year's goals of self love was very different from now.
Right. Right.
Okay, so it's always in that constant,
State of
evolving
evolution.
yeah,
Yeah.
state of evolution, and you are always in the state of awe. Wow, I like that last year, but I do not like this this year, because it is again self love. Again, some people will term it as self validation. Then why not? This is one life, and you got to live full,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you got to see what you have to offer, and how you are offering, and how actually you are impacting lives in that process.
Process. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think the more as you said, the more we keep on working with people, the more we become aware of what we are capable of. How much more
Yes.
can we expand? How much, actually, by working with people, we discover how much love we have for ourselves.
Yeah, and the whole idea of self love is not at all rigid. That not
Hmm.
at all rigid. So just like the way I said, I always had this vision to work from hill stations. I want to travel
Hmm.
with my laptop, and if I want, I can stay for a month. If I want, I can stay for a week. If I didn't like, I can come back home,
Yeah.
spend time with my
A very
cats,
fluid
and
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
very fluid. That is self love for me again.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I want to know from you, Jim Lee, before we move on to the other coaches is, you know, you chose ATEPS and you got inside
Yes.
ATEPS, and how has that been for you? Tell us briefly.
Yeah, I'll come to that. Yeah, that is important for me also. Okay. So when I first heard about you, and I from one of my friends, so I started following you, and I was like, I need that coach. I need that coach to coach me to make big money, because I'm going to make big money, and he is someone who will make my dreams come true.
Right.
So again, I term that as self love. My self love was getting into ATIPS so that I can break my own barrier.
Amazing. Amazing. That is so good to hear.
Yeah, and somewhere that was like an instant connect that I had with you. And like the whatever you said, the post was completely, it was like speaking to me. Your
Hmm.
posts were
Hmm.
speaking to me, your videos were like, it was like as if you were telling me all these things. I was like, I
Yeah.
need to, and I was like, every day I used to listen to the podcast, every day I used to listen to whatever you post, I read, and I just take
Wow.
a note. I just and I was like, I will do anything to like get into this container.
A lot of
Okay.
people actually have told me that they sort of binge on my podcast, and it only fills my heart with a lot of gratitude. Thank you, Jim
Yeah.
Lee, so much, for trusting yourself, more than trusting the container, more than trusting me, and trusting yourself with the choice that I want to do this for myself.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't do that. They may give themselves various other reasons. I want to do this because I want to create impact in the world. I want to make money. And all of those reasons are good. But often we don't tell ourselves that, okay, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to experience this. What does this experience mean to me? This experience means that by experiencing this, I will be able to give myself something that I desire, right?
Hmm.
And that is self-love, right?
Yes. Yes. And like ATIPS had been such a, from the first call of ATIPS, the energy of ATIPS had been so high. And it's like every day experience something different. It's only
Yeah.
one call, but for the whole week it's like a different power booster. It's like a lot of things that I am unlearning as well
Hmm.
as learning. And yes, I have hit rock bottom also here,
Hmm.
because I certain thoughts I had to unlearn. And like
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's a
and
very
it was
painful process sometimes to,
yeah,
come across something in a coaching call and then working on it, and then the whole week you may feel like shit because, oh my God, I was carrying this whole notion for such a long time and now it doesn't
right.
exist. Yeah, I totally get that.
Exactly. So, but that's the one, if you see it in a very optimistic way, that's another beauty of, like looking yourself as one flexible human being
Hmm.
who
Hmm.
is ready to adopt certain new things right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is how coaches are. That's what we coaches are. We are unjudgmental, non-judgmental, people who, like, who provides a safe space, who believe in the other person, and let that person also believes us, right? So,
Yeah.
and yes, a lot of unlearning has happened with ATEPS. A lot of learnings have
Yeah.
happened, and a lot of learning is still happening. I'm still,
Happening.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
still happening, and I'm just yet to experience. Because what excites me more is like my own evolution, and along with me, I'm seeing my clients' growth.
Growth. Yeah. Yeah. That is like the greatest testimonial. And Jim Lee, you are taking consultations, right? You do take consult calls and
Yes,
you are
I
still
do.
signing up clients.
Yes.
So we would really, really want our audience to find you out, to hunt you down. And so many people at this moment need more and more self-love. So please tell us, where can they find you?
Instagram.
Okay. What is your
Right.
Instagram handle called?
It's Jim Lee, Self Love Coach.
Jim Lee Self Love Coach. I'm going to put that up in my show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Jim Lee. I was like awestruck by your whole journey, and I think it's going to make so much sense, as I said, to people who do have limiting thoughts of belonging to a certain part of the country or the world, and imagining if they can become successful coaches. And this is one example for all of you. This
Yes.
is this is
Yes.
one huge example. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Jim Lee. I'm going to move on to
Thank you.
Suniti.
Thank you so much.
So, Suniti, we want to, move on to you. And of course, we want you to introduce yourself to our audience. But I also want to add that Suniti has been a part of ATEPS right from the pilot group. We had a pilot group in March this year, which is 2022. I think, some people might just be listening to this podcast in 2023, 2024, I don't know when. But then Suniti has been there inside ATEPS from the very beginning. She was the first person, one of the first people of the three people to sign up. We had like 13 members in our pilot group. And Suniti, I still remember putting up the poster. This thought came to me that I should come up with a program called ATEPS, and I put it up on my Instagram at like 10 in the night. And at 10:30, Suniti messages me and says that, what is this? I want to get inside this. so, so, so she's been there from then. And yeah, and Suniti also comes from Guwahati. So Suniti, please introduce yourself, because you are you are not just like the participant in the container. You are actually one of the founding members, and now you are also going to be one of the coaches inside ATEPS. So you will be coaching people inside ATEPS. So please tell us about yourself.
Hi, Gaurav. It is such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so
Amazing.
much for that kind introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Suniti Barwa. I am a psychotherapist and coach, and I primarily work on safety, feeling safety, in the body, in the mind, working with the spirit, your authentic self, and safety around external, things which we all need, like relationships, money, health, all of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm excited to be now coaching in ATEPS too. And I was so excited about ATEPS launching. I have been calling Gaurav G Money since I ever met him. That was my nickname for him. And I was like, you have so much that you've given me clarity on in terms of my relationship with money, etc. And when you announced ATEPS, I was like, yes, amazing. Finally, it's here.
Right. So, Suniti, you also have, you bring this whole mix of, you are a psychologist, right? And along with that, we go a long way. We've worked on doing a diploma in regression therapy. We have learned transpersonal psychology. You have integrated all of that work. A huge majority, a huge realm of your work is working with attachment trauma, which is basically inner child. And then you
Yes.
moved into also family constellation and intergenerational trauma, and you combined all of that.
Yes.
I want to know, how do you view and witness your psychology career with everything else that you bring, which comes under the broad heading of the word coach, right? And how do you mix and match that?
Thank you for the question. I think it's so important to talk about this. Firstly, I want to say that now I'm able to mix it so well. It's all in harmony, but that was not true quite
The
some
case
time
in the
back.
beginning. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, in the
I
beginning,
also wanted, you to address this, Suniti, sorry for cutting you, because,
No,
so
no.
many people, they struggle with, oh, I want to, be a coach, or I want to be an alternative practitioner or therapist. I don't know where to start, and I don't know if I can, and I don't know if this is for me, So a lot of people want to be in this field, but are also very confused. So I think your journey as a traditional psychologist, and then moving into a realm which is, so to say, esoteric, and bringing that into traditional practice, and then today you work with safety. So I think
Yes.
people would be really interested in knowing that.
Yes. So, when I started working as a clinical psychologist, uh, during that time itself, there was so much confusion regarding what I could provide and what I couldn't provide to my clients. So even though my training was very strong technically, there was a big discrepancy between what individuals needed in terms of their expectations when they came to me for a consultation or for sessions, and versus what I knew. So everything was very theoretical. It wasn't really very practical. And my first diploma in REBT and CBT, which is rational emotive behavior therapy,
Therapy.
cognitive behavior therapy, is quite popular, and there are a lot
Yeah,
of practitioners who do it.
yeah.
So that really helped me. But I kept feeling that something is missing, something is not aligning. And I'm blessed to have been exposed to a lot of spiritual practices and healing as a child, because my grandmother was a Reiki practitioner. And,
Right.
so I do know that there are these other methodologies that were supportive, but I couldn't bring myself to move in that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
It felt like I was giving up on so many years of hard work, or what would people say, all of these
All of these
common.
things, yeah, just like
Yeah,
for me it was, like, how can a doctor go and uh, do past life regression therapy for people? I mean, that term didn't even exist. Like, it was like, oh,
exactly.
you can take people into past life, what does that mean? So something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it felt very strange, but I kept looking, and that's when I think I connected with you also.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we met through Facebook long time back,
yeah, long
years
time
ago.
back.
Yeah, and then I was so intrigued, but the environmental limitations sort of didn't let me go
Hmm,
and
hmm,
sort of connect with you then.
hmm.
But I think that slowly moving forward from there, and just
Yeah,
like how I think Jim Lee also shared that, believing that, no, I
believing, yeah,
think I've experienced this, I've experienced Reiki firsthand, I've
yeah,
experienced all of these things firsthand, I want to explore and see what more could be possible,
yeah, yeah.
and then moving forward. And I think this is something that we need to understand. So I wanted to actually share about something. The moment you said that a
Hmm.
lot of people are there who want to move into a more wider practice, or
True.
want to go into being a coach, or align with methodologies that feel good to them, that bring
Hmm.
them results, and then so giving results to their clients. So I'm also a teacher in the sense that I teach
Yes.
psychotherapy to other practitioners. I mean different methodologies. I also am a visiting faculty at TISS Guwahati,
Yes.
that is
Yeah. Yeah.
the Institute of Social
Tata
Sciences.
Institute of Social Sciences. Yes.
Yes, and
Hmm.
I teach one paper called social psychology. And I was
Yeah.
teaching my students about something called as social facilitation.
Hmm. Hmm.
How we perform in the presence of other people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and why I wanted to bring it up is because I was trying to prepare the notes for this, and I came across something interesting, which I don't remember studying, I mean in my time. So there is a experimenter, Zajong, I think that's how it's pronounced,
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Can you spell that
1969.
out for our audience so that they can like
Yes,
go and search?
Zajonc.
Okay.
Yes. So he conducted an experiment with cockroaches.
Hmm.
He set up a maze for them, and he also added a twist to this maze where he constructed these clear plastic boxes close enough to the maze so that the roach audience could observe the maze running participants. So it's like there were some roaches there, and the ones that would run the maze, the other roaches could observe them.
Wow.
So he did that, and with this setup, the roaches in the maze would also know that they were being watched and would be aware of the presence of the onlooking audience, who, by the way, are also
Performance.
listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as it turned out, those cockroaches who were watched by other roaches ran the maze faster than the
How
cockroaches without.
amazing. How amazing.
Yeah. So why I sort of took out this note, and I was like, no, I have to share about this today, because we don't realize that we are constantly in this facilitation. What will others think about me?
Hmm.
Do I dive into this? Are
Yeah.
people watching me? And we are constantly in this performance,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know
Right.
and
Right. Right. Which might create an internal uh, competitiveness
yeah,
to, yeah, to be a certain kind of person,
yes,
have a certain kind of identity.
yes, have a certain kind of identity that we don't consciously build. It's sort of like this
Hmm.
whole environment and the facilitation that we are in. And what he also discovered is that the dominant or well learned responses
Hmm.
take over whenever there are people. So even
Hmm.
if you do believe, or even if you do have had a lot of resolution with methodologies, or
Hmm.
with a spiritual practice, with meditation, through Buddhism, so many through past life, you
Yeah.
will not talk about it, because
Ah,
the dominant response is talk about something clinical, and that would come up.
yes, yes. This is so fascinating, Suniti. I really want you to elaborate on that, because, you know, y- this is one of the most radical, podcasts that I do. The other podcast that I do is on Substack, and everywhere I try to bring out the truth, and the truth is subjective, and the truth is what I think and what I believe in, right? So even here, like in this discussion with you, when I first took something like regression therapy to Guwahati, I had to face so much of backlash. You know,
Mm.
people were saying all kinds of things, in the sense that, he's a doctor, what is he doing? And, what kind of training it is. Something we laughed out, Alankrita, you and I, we still remember, all three of us, smoking in our veranda in our Guwahati training center, and we were talking about a certain gentleman who was talking about how, which means if you were a tiger in your last birth, then do you go back to being a tiger when you are going through a past life regression, something like that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I had to face so much of backlash, and I did not give it up, because I really, really believed in this work, and therefore I could come up with a whole group of people in Guwahati who actually completed the diploma. in Rich and
Mhm.
Head.
Yes.
And so I want to know from you, Suniti, that how do you navigate yourself as a psychologist who also integrates all kinds of alternative spiritual indigenous practices? And how does that, contribute to the kind of clients you get, to the things you get to hear about yourself, that too being in Guwahati, in a small city, and also, the way you make your money?
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, so I have another interesting answer here. I think I would like to contribute a lot to COVID. The great revealer is what I call it. You know,
Hmm.
it's revealed so many things. So I'm going to go from this point of this constantly being in that performance element. You know,
Yeah.
how am I performing? Where am I showing up? What are people going to think? So when we were in lockdown, I mean, you are literally at home. I mean, physically, there is no performance expected out of you anymore because the platform where you would perform is not there anymore. Like for us, I mean,
Yeah.
the center, we had to close it because we work with adolescents and children through ISKA Wellness, you know,
Right.
and
That's your business venture that works
yes,
with children, Iska
yes,
Wellness.
in Guwahati. So, you know, we had to close everything and we had to uh, convert online for a few children, and everything was so new. In the
Hmm.
sense, I was working with adults online through Skype, but with children, with parents, it's a whole new
Hmm.
realm, you know, that we were diving into. And there was so much worry around money as well. I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
now what are we going to do? These traditional things that we were doing or we were performing are not there anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah. This is so fascinating. The dominant traits.
yeah,
I want my audience to like notice the dominant traits take over while performing.
yes,
So see what your dominant traits are. And it is not necessary that the dominant traits are the traits that you believe in, that you like, that you desire.
true,
So
true, true.
important, so important. Yeah,
So
go ahead,
important.
please.
So important.
It
So
really blew my
we are
mind.
so,
That's why I'm like bringing it up again and again.
and that too with cockroaches. So you imagine, like, where is the cockroach operating from? It does not have an evolved brain like us.
Wow,
So it's the
Suniti.
nervous system. It's the nervous system, and it's our nervous system. It's that
My
basic
God.
being in you, you know. So I had to bring this up today. So anyway, you know, during COVID, this is what happened, and we had to close everything. And then I was like, okay, now what do I do? I mean, there are no clients, and I'm talking about the first couple of months of lockdown. After that, everything became, you know, like mental health online, and
True.
definitely that boosted us. But the first couple of months, I made more than 1 lakh rupees, Indian rupees,
Wow.
doing tarot readings
Wow.
because I had
Sitting
nothing
in
else to
Guwahati, by the
do.
way. Sitting in
In God,
Guwahati, more than a lakh, doing tarot reading. Hear this. Hear this, guys.
yes,
You have to know this. Sitting in Guwahati, more than a lakh, doing tarot reading. Right?
that was around. I think this was in 2020, so that was around 1,200 or 1,300 USD then, maybe.
Wow. Wow.
No,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I was just, you know, being like, okay, I need some guidance. I need something to help me out of this situation that I'm in. And of course, the whole world was in that situation.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I relied on what I felt the safest with, which was tarot, because it was my personal practice to like pull a tarot card, get some guidance, you know, like for myself,
Wow.
for my friends. So I took it out and I just offered a free reading for a couple of people during
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
initial lockdown because they were in a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And I just took, you know, one question, 100 rupees or 200 rupees, nothing much,
Yeah.
because at
Yeah.
first, you know, I didn't believe in it then in
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then it blew up. Somebody said, oh, she just helped me with this, you know, you can talk to her, it's just $100. And I used to get like 10-20 questions a day, and I was like, okay, I'll send you the answers via WhatsApp. So I would sit the whole day, and I got back into my meditative practices. I would sit with the tarot, and soon I was seeing like this influx of money in my account,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And I think I had shared about this in the pilot group also,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact that I made, but I don't think I had said the amount. I'm saying it now
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The second, but I think that is the most brilliant thing we are hearing today. And the second thing that I wanted to that was the part of the question was about, traditional psychologists and traditional registered clinical practitioners, being in Guwahati, the kind of responses that you have from them and how do you cope with them? We'd want to know from you in terms of you being an integrated practitioner, and you definitely charge more, and you charge what you want to charge.
Yes, yes. So like I said, that navigating
Because
these
I also
first.
wanted to tell people, sorry again, I also wanted to tell people that coaching, as you know, is an unregulated industry, which does not mean that um, which does not mean that there will be quacks and cons everywhere, which also means that we are the people who are setting the standards now, right?
Yes.
We are setting the quality, and that is what is going to bring regulation in the future. So it is so important to know from you, Suniti, as well, that when you are setting these standards for yourself and for your clients, which also includes the financial standards, the kind of money that you are charging, right? So and of course there will be voices around, so how do you navigate around those voices? That was the second part of the question.
Yes. So the first thing is to ask yourself, what is important to me? So what was important for me during COVID was to find something joyful, because
Hmm.
everything else, to my logical mind, to all of the techniques I knew, there was like a dead end. I was like, okay, what do I do now with this situation? And
Hmm.
also I lead a team, so the team is also dependent on my lead, for some
Right.
things.
Right.
In that sense, although that team, we had to dissolve, and we went through a lot of changes, but
Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. So the first thing is to ask yourself, what is important to me?
Hmm.
And also to come from that space of kindness for yourself, because that's when
Hmm.
you will feel safe. That's
Hmm.
when you will feel safe to say that, yes, I can give you the same results with tarot, I can give you the same
Hmm.
results, and not to boast that, yes, I can give these results. I mean, of course, it's also the tool that does so much
Hmm.
of the work, but to believe in the fact that, yes, I know this works, it has worked for me,
Yeah.
and I don't have to prove it. The second thing is to then show the kindness to all of these other people who will, voice out to you that it might not be for their understanding, and therefore that's why it's all right. They are
Yeah.
right in their own way, maybe for their own audience, for the
Hmm.
people who will benefit for them. And
Hmm.
those people don't have to be my clients or my audience.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, that takes away so much of mental load
Yes.
on who is going to. I often get this question. I was asking this question again and again to you, Suniti, because I often get this question that, but who is going to come to me? They are going to
Mhm.
go to a psychologist, or they are going to go to a therapist. Who is going to come to me? Because I don't have a quote unquote traditional degree or a traditional certificate. Why would people want to
Yes.
pay me versus paying them? Or if, one of our participants inside ATEPS also faced the same issue, wherein they were a part of an organization which was inhabited by so many different psychologists, and they were charging somewhere around 2,500 rupees. And our participant was categorically told that they should price their sessions at 1,500 rupees, simply because they do not have a psychology degree, which I completely disagree, that your pricing is not based on your degree or qualification, but on the result that you provide to your clients, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, psychology is sold in a form of a degree because there are so many people willing to experiment with it and come up with theories and apply it again and again and again to
Hmm.
give that
Hmm.
evidence. So any practice becomes an evidence-based practice when people like you and me practice it every day and make notes and put it out there. It's not going to show up any other way. I mean, how else? I
Yeah.
don't know how
This is
else.
so important. People like you and me, and people like, everyone's
Yeah,
listening, practice it
yeah.
every single day. This is gold for all you people listening, by the way.
Yes, and also, I mean, no matter the degree, no matter the platform you use, no matter which organization, you anyway need to have an ethical, consensual relationship with your client, which means
Hmm.
that you know your boundaries, your limitations, you
Hmm.
understand the client's limitations, or what do they need to know. You
Yeah.
talk about what the program consists. You talk about what prices you have. And
Yeah.
as I always share with my team, that if you don't know the answer to something, it's okay. Tell them that I will
Hmm.
get back to you.
Hmm.
And it's not that I have to search for the answer to for my client. I also need the answer for myself. And sometimes the answer is found after exploration.
Right.
Only then are these answers found. So if you are willing to accept it, you will also get clients who will accept that, okay, let's
Accept.
explore it together
Yeah.
and find the answer to this question.
Amazing. I think this episode
I
is
mean,
going to make
if sorry, I'm cutting. If Zajong didn't do this experiment, we wouldn't know the similarity between a cockroach and us in terms of performance.
that is true. And Suniti, it makes me think that if dominant traits are traits that we express
Yes,
when
like
we
well learned dominant traits, which
yeah,
you are
well
already
learned,
best
yes.
practice. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
which is also influenced by the environment, because the environment
yes.
keeps on telling you that you should be like this, you should be like that. For example, you should wear a certain kind of clothes, or you should speak in a certain kind of way, don't speak loud,
Yeah.
all these kinds of
1500.
charge shooting.
I
Right. This is so true. I am so excited by the revelation of this whole experiment. Charge 1,500. You can't charge more than 2,000, something like that. Or if you are in Guwahati, then you can't make more money. Things like that. When people will tell you. So I am very fascinated, Suniti, that does this experiment also then propel us to think that if our environment changes, and if we are in a group or a community where we get to relearn our dominant traits, which tells us that making money is good. You can make money by being a coach. Making, let us say, 4 lakhs a month, 5 lakhs a month is a possibility, and you can do it. And if that is reinforced again and again and again, and if you are told that you are going to get people, if you believe in the work that you're doing, if you keep making offers, and if these point of views are repeated again and again and again inside a container for a long time, will it then impact the performance of the inhabitants of the container?
I hypothesize it should. It should, based on this and based on other studies that have been done in social facilitation.
Yeah, yeah,
And I have to tell everyone, all the budding psychologists out there, that all these people have faced their fair share of backlash. I mean, they still do,
yeah.
each and every one of them. So it's not an easy task if you are a change bringer of change. you
Change.
know Provided you feel that, okay, this is not my dominant trait. But if you think that I am a change maker and that is my dominant trait, then it becomes easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's learn from the cockroaches.
So true, so
Yes,
true. I was
yes,
asking this because that's what we do inside ATEPS. We are building a
yes.
huge community, and it's not just one person's mindset and dominant traits, as the experiment says, are changing, but it's the whole community, which is undergoing this huge change, and our structures and thinking and mindsets around money and business and finance is actually breaking away.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
breaking away.
yeah.
So that is the most amazing thing. Suniti, you and I were talking about your program also. You work majorly on safety. You have an
Yes,
upcoming program called Combat Anxiety, right?
yes,
And
yes.
I see you promoting it. And I tell every single person dealing with anxiety coupled with depression, not only the anxiety that is overt, that is visible, that you can sense, but also anxiety in everyday life, from
Yeah,
the scattered thoughts that you have in your brain to the kind of agitation that you feel within your relationship, or even while doing your daily task, like sitting down on your desk, at your table, and trying to think of a thought, and that thought doesn't come to you, and then you go into a state of frenzy. Anxiety can show up in all forms, and Suniti has been working a lot on finding out these micro moments and micro triggers,
yes,
and working with them in a very different way inside this program. And as she said, that the central idea of this whole program is finding the safety not outside of us, but something which is so inherent, innate, and is inside of us. So, Suniti, could you please talk about this signature program that you provide to people?
Yes. So basically, I wanted to help people sort of work around anxiety or emotions that sort of mix up and present like anxiety, not just through the logic or not just through rationalizing, but also understanding that there is a much bigger entity here at play, which is your body, which is your breath, which is every cell, actually, the sensations, the experience of every cell. So, even though the program combines a lot of methods from breathing to movement to artwork and working with different somatic practices, the main essence is to not look at anxiety as the devil or the villain, to know that there is an intelligence behind it, that it's coming from somewhere, and it has probably become the dominant trait now. And
Wow.
when you want to work on something, everything else just hijacks,
Yeah.
and this anxiety takes over, and
Yeah.
it's being in this constant particular environment. I mean, if we take the practice example of, let's say, a baby coach, somebody who's just entered this profession, they will I mean, we could sort of assume that they will have so much anxiety around, how do I put myself out there, what is it that I do with my clients, how do I take them forward, because there are already these existing sort of pillars in place, that okay, you have to follow XYZ, etc., and then
Yeah.
your body goes into this fight, flight, freeze or fawn. And and also because there are these predisposed responses to protect you, so there's an intelligence there, but to feel it in every cell of your body, that I can now use this intelligence for myself.
Wow, this is so revealing, like, and seeing anxiety as a certain kind of intelligence and then utilizing that for myself.
Yes.
I think people who are not going to sign up for your program right now, today itself, after listening to this podcast, are going to miss out on a lot, because it is on early bird, right? It's on
Yes,
early bird
it's
right
on
now. What's the
early.
early bird,
Yes,
Suniti?
early bird is just 310 USD.
Oh my
And
God.
it's very, I think, very, very pocket friendly. I feel so, and so much is going to be there for them, so much. And I will be available for support during that 5-week container,
It's a
not just during
5-week container. Yes.
container, yes, not just during the sort of sessions. And we have 10 sessions, so we meet twice every week, but also in between.
310 USD for 10 sessions, and you being available to them throughout is an absolute steal.
Right now, yes, it's a steal, and it's going up to 1,000 USD. I mean, that's the launch price this
Launch
time.
price. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So,
because I want everyone listening to this podcast today sign up for that program right away, where can they find you, Suniti? Where can these people find you?
they can find me on Instagram.
Okay.
It's Suniti Barua, and psychotherapist and coach.
Yeah.
I'm also there on Google. I mean, they could just search Suniti Barua psychotherapist on Google, and I will show up. So both of
I'm going
these.
to add your Insta handle, because a lot of people here on this podcast also reach out to my Insta handle. So I'm going to put up your Insta handle in the show notes, so that
Okay.
they can get in touch with you. Suniti Barua is the Insta handle, right?
Yes, yes,
Can,
psychotherapist and coach.
can you spell that out for us once?
SUNITIBARUA.
Right. Great. Great. So people, please find Suniti today, DM her, talk to her, and sign up for her program. 310, as I said, is an absolute steal at this moment, because it's going to go up to $1,000. Right?
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to tell everyone that, please come and explore ATEPS. Go check out Gaurav's page, because there's so much already on his Instagram. And, it's just such a big community where we are nourishing each other's, dreams and
True.
desires,
True.
and making everything possible, together. Just like how we saw that a different kind of environment can give rise to different traits. Here
Traits.
it's the opposite. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we are striving for, no?
True.
To
True. Don't be the
normalize all of
cockroaches.
these. Yes. Yeah, don't be a cockroach.
Wow, this was so revealing. Thank you, Suriti. Thanks a lot for, being on this episode. I'm really grateful, and I'm awestruck by everything that is coming out in this episode. So thank you once again, and I would like to now move on to Alankrita.
Thank you.
Alankrita, sorry you had to wait for so long.
That is
So
all.
I'll of course ask you to introduce yourself. But then I and Alankrita also go a long way. I think I have known her through Suniti, and she was a part of our, again, diploma program in regression work that we did in Guwahati long time back. And Alankrita also is a powerful small town girl who is also a powerful coach today, right? So as you know, today's episode is called, the power of small town girls. And I'm bringing all the girls who are my favorite coaches from my city, Guwahati. And Alankrita is also from Guwahati. And she happens to be trained in a variety of modalities, and including her background in traditional psychology. And Alankrita, go ahead. Please tell us about yourself, about your background, and how you um, combine all of this.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast, and I'm so honored, deeply honored.
You're
Um,
welcome.
well, my name is Alankrita Pumia. I am a psychotherapist, and I help people shift from inner space of threat to inner space of safety
Hmm.
through trauma-informed processes.
Hmm.
And this is what my Insta bio also says.
Right. Yes. I know that you have been putting up some really brilliant posts on Insta. And yeah, I mean, it's all spreading out now. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, well, to start off from my journey in Guwahati.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, Guwahati, I will now not say that it is a small city. I
Hmm.
mean, it used
No
to be,
longer. No
no
longer.
longer, it's no longer a small city. It
Yeah.
used to be at one point of time, but the amount of development, evolution it has gone through in these years, every day it is going
Hmm.
through. My perspective also is changing with time
Yeah.
about my city and what it can offer, what it has offered me in the past, and what it can offer me now.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is the main thing that I truly believe in.
Right. And how has that influenced and affected your practice? Because I believe right now you work with one-on-one clients,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how has it affected and influenced your one-on-one practice, Alankrita?
So I started working in the year 2015, and for the longest time, I worked in one company, and the mentality back then was that I have to earn enough money,
Hmm.
and then to earn enough money, I have to work in two, three places at the same time.
Right. Which is what we often grow up with, that, if you want to make more money, go and do another job.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the initial days was definitely fun. I felt so productive.
Yeah.
There was a lot of validation that I got from people, and that
Yeah.
really helped me boost my self-esteem till I reached a point where actually I started feeling that exhaustion within me.
Absolutely. We were just discussing about this, right? Like this whole exhaustion of trying to do so much. Yeah.
Yes. So, well, I used to work as a school psychologist. I started my career as a school psychologist where I had to visit different schools in the city.
Hmm.
And of course, they were all reputed schools in the city.
Hmm.
And then to be in the school environment, so much of chaos, so much of
Hmm.
shouting and everything. And after that, I had to come back. I came back home, and then again going back to seeing one-on-one personal clients. It was a
Yeah.
huge task for me then,
Yeah. Yeah.
because what I noticed that I was holding space for so many people,
Hmm.
and but I was not, I could not hold space, I could not hold that space for my own self.
Myself. Yeah. Yeah.
And that has really affected me a lot. It has taken a toll over my mental health. It has
Hmm.
taken a toll over my physical health,
Yeah.
and I started developing a lot of gut health issues, and I
Hmm.
started
Hmm.
developing a lot of pain in both my knees.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then was the moment when I thought that no, I can't do this. Rather, I'm
Yeah.
not willing to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to work in two, three places,
Yeah.
work my ass off. No, that is
Hmm.
not something I want.
And
So
then what is the change that you brought? Because I know that, in ATEPS, we talk a lot about entering the sacred pause. So
yes,
how was that for you? Because I know that you entered a sacred pause.
yes. Uh, so to be very honest, uh, even before ATIP start, I know you from a long time. And then following you, I've been following you in social media, and the kind of post you make and the kind of post you write, the lives you come up with has
Hmm.
really helped me a lot, because I could then see that my self-worth, my self-esteem, everything that is related to myself is
Hmm.
not, it's not outside, it's not on the
Outside. Yeah.
outside, it is within me,
Yeah.
right? And that is when started feeling and understanding that I don't need other people to validate me.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't need other people's point of view to
Hmm.
validate my point of view, right?
Right. Right.
So yes, of course, it is then when this is how it started. Um, I stopped working in a full-time job,
Hmm.
salaried job, and then I decided to focus on my one-on-one practice. I
Amazing. I
also,
want I want people to like people who are stuck in toxic jobs to take a moment and like listen to this. I let go of this job and I focused on my one-on-one coaching. And
yes.
then what happened to your one-on-one coaching? Tell them that.
And then you would not believe, again, as Suniti said, how her journey was in 2020 when she started with tarot.
Yeah.
Uh, Something also similar happened to me. It was Suniti itself who wanted me to do a chakra cleansing for her
Hmm. For her. Yeah.
2020 in 2020, and I did it, and she said, "Oh, it feels good." And I said, "Whoa, it feels good to me to get this." And then you would not believe, we did not have, I mean, I still had the job, but it was not paying me my regular salary.
Yeah.
It was not even hand to mouth, the
Yeah.
salary
Yeah.
that I was getting during the lockdown period. So then I started putting up posters in my Instagram account, posters
Hmm.
in my in I uploaded it in Google as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is how it caught few people's attention.
Attention.
And then I made almost, I think, 65 to 80,000 rupees in
Wow.
a month. In a month.
Wow. 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 And of
Yes.
course, like that was like how many fold would you say from the salary that you were getting in your day job? Like how many X?
Um, Trisex.
Wow. So this is what, when you focus on what you like and what you discover, you might just discover it in one moment, like so discover it by making an offer of tarot that just came so naturally to her. And Alankrita offered it in the form of this chakra cleansing work that came so naturally to her. And that's when it like boomed, right?
Yes. Also, that was a point when the first insight hit me that, oh, I can earn money without, without working hard as in key, not,
Working hard is a thought, right? Like it's actually a thought that you realize, and that just like you said, that I could realize that I can make money without toiling, without suffering, without the
yes,
pain, without the exhaustion,
at ease.
at ease. And that's evidence, right?
Right,
That's
absolutely.
evidence. Like you can fall back on that evidence. And for most people, when they tell themselves things like, I have to work hard, I have to toil, I have to, do three jobs. These are the kind of things that we tell ourselves to make money.
Mm.
And initially, we may refuse to believe in something that does not have evidence. Like, Alankrita, you created your evidence. Like
Right.
you did something
Mm.
about which you had zero evidence that you can make that amount of money by doing the kind of work that you were doing, the number of hours you were putting. You didn't have evidence, but you still went ahead and did it. And then the evidence showed up. So I
Yes,
also want our audience to look at Alankrita's journey as creation of evidence when you don't have evidence.
absolutely, absolutely. And it was so addictive for me, addictive as in the state of rest, the
Rest,
state of
yeah.
sacred pause. It is very addictive. Once you understand that making money is easy, you
Yeah,
don't need to work very hard. Of course, you working hard, everyone holds different definition of working hard.
yeah,
And
yeah.
for me, this for me, working hard is not having time for me. I'm
Hmm.
holding space for everyone. I'm holding space for everyone also means I'm holding space for so many nervous systems at the same time.
Yeah, because we think we are responsible for, in a way, changing those nervous system. We don't exist like trees in a forest where every tree is contributing to every other tree's nutrition and health. But we
Absolutely.
think that, oh, I am this huge tree with a huge canopy, and under me there are all these trees, and for their nourishment, I am the one who is responsible.
Yeah.
That is exhausting. That is exhausting. Instead of thinking that, no, it's just happening in tandem, parallelly, and so many people are contributing to me and I'm contributing to them, and it's happening in a very um, cross connective way, if there's a term like that. So
Right.
I totally get you. I totally get you. So Alankrita, how did that change your practice,
Mm.
the kind of clients you were getting, and the money that kept showing up? Because now you are willing to give yourself more time, rest. Yeah, and also I would want you to bring in the element of being in Guwahati, in the
Yeah.
context of this practitioner who gives herself some, her own time, practices rest. So tell us about that.
All right. So that was the point when I actually understood the importance of rest, the sacred pause, and that has really helped me to uh, cut down on a lot of things that usually initially it used to exhaust me. you know
Hmm. Hmm.
when it comes to a place like Guwahati,
Hmm.
one very important uh, aspect that I could see over years is that when I started practicing, I did not have uh, much more. I mean, people did not know me then so much, right? And then after 2020, I decided to put my name in Google, so that if
Hmm.
they put my name, write my name, they will get, oh, what do I do, where my chamber is, and everything. And then the next phase of struggle came when I shifted fully to one-on-one practice, and then the consistency of client
Hmm.
was the next challenging part.
Right.
So the comfort of getting a monthly salary was gone, and then a challenge to show up every day and show up in a way that ultimately it is like you're selling yourself out. You're selling
Yeah. Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Initially, you get that feeling. Yes.
Yes. So it was difficult for me. I would not say it was very easy. It was difficult for me to uh, get people's attention. The entire thought process was very different from what it is now.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
was so dependent on other people. I was so
Yeah.
dependent on my clients for them to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then again, even though I was not, I left a regular salary job, and even though I was doing my one-on-one practice, still I felt that no, something is not working.
Yeah, yeah.
Something is not working. I still am, I feel that my energy is still exhausting,
Exhausting. Yeah. Hmm.
right? Until a point when, to be honest, I saw ATEPS season 2 happening, right?
Right.
After the pilot batch of ATEPS. And then when I decided to join ATEPS, I could understand how important for us, how important it was for me to plan a plan that
Hmm.
rest, and not work in that rest.
Right, right.
Right.
Like I often tell people, as you've rightly pointed out, that to put rest in your calendar, to really plan your rest instead of doing your rest or, sort of entering rest when you are exhausted. Yeah.
Yes. So, of course, then with also in our last ATEPS coaching call, you mentioned on how, as children, we had to finish so many homeworks even during the vacation. So the
Hmm.
idea of vacation is not there. It's simply not in our reality, right?
True.
And to operate from that space is really difficult. Well, now I have I have particular days where I take consultations. I have particular days where I do session. And I have 2 days in a week where I don't see clients, I don't see patients. Those 2 days are only for me, you
And
know,
that has only led to more growth and more money.
more growth and more money. You know, that has helped me create a structure, that has helped me understand my needs, also my desires, also my wants, my
Hmm.
emotional, material, any want, you name it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
has come from a very independent space, and I'm operating from a guilt free space, basically.
Yeah. I have a very interesting question for you, Alankrita, which is, you know, what would you have to tell to, let's say, 10, 20, or hundreds of um, girls or women or men for that matter in small cities um, doing jobs that they don't want to do, figuring out if they like something like coaching or healing or alternative practices, and having this conflict in their mind that how do I go ahead? Will this be sustainable? Can I be in this place in the city and still make this, um, a self-sustaining business? Because you have done that now, right? So, what would be your advice, suggestion, or coaching to them through this podcast?
So I personally believe, I have actually started believing in the fact that when you stop hustling, you will allow that pause to come to you. You will
Hmm.
allow that rest to come to you. And then you will also be enlightened by so many other perspectives.
Yeah.
Right. I have so many friends who are engineers, who have their work in Bangalore, Delhi, in other places, right?
Hmm.
And of course, they still are working from home. Being in Guwahati, they still are working from home, and there are friends, of course, they are also, they have such beautiful qualities, such beautiful talents, which they mourn about.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're not, they are not enjoying the fact that they do have this,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Can you give us an example? Like a
For example,
quality?
yes. So my friend, she is one of my best friends. She works in a very reputed company here in
Yeah.
Guwahati. And then she always calls me up and says, "Ki, hi, where are you?" I say, "I'm just done with my day." And it's around 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And then she says, "You are lucky."
You are lucky.
You are,
I hate that when people say that you are lucky.
yes, you are so lucky. I mean, you have such a flexible time schedule and everything. Uh, and so the main point is that this friend of mine, she is a beautiful painter.
Hmm.
There was a time when she painted on crockery, on
Wow.
ceramic
Yeah.
plates, ceramic pots, and her paintings are amazing.
Hmm.
So she did open up a page, but then I don't think it is. functioning anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she was working in Delhi back then.
Hmm.
Then she had to fly down to Guwahati, and now
Yeah.
she is working here. And the last time we spoke was, I think, 2 3 days back, when
Hmm.
she said that my mental health, my physical health, she has gained
Hmm.
a lot of weight.
Hmm.
She has started to dislike her
Yeah.
work, but of course, when you get salary, that is the time when you feel good,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
you're not able to, you're not able to dislike it completely, you
Yeah,
know.
because you get the hit of dopamine, and then you get conditioned to that, right? That the idea of stability, that at the end of the month there is a certain sum that is going to show up in my account, and I don't have to be responsible to create that amount. Um, like you said, that I had to, the challenge that I faced was having the consistency
Hmm.
of clients to create that amount of money uh, that I could have had as a salary, something that keeps on repeating in a pattern. And when we
Right.
break that pattern, we feel a bit flustered, because the regularity of that stability goes away, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Hmm.
absolutely. So it was then when I asked her that, take a leave, see how does it feel, just take a
Hmm.
leave, take a day off, and it's okay if you're not paid, you know,
Hmm.
even if it's an unpaid leave, go
Yeah.
ahead, take it. And something actually happened to her at
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
day when she actually decided to take a leave. uh, I think she went to an exhibition. It was an entrepreneurs exhibition where they
Hmm.
came up with different their own products and everything. And then she again told me that, should I start painting again? I said, this is your call.
Yeah.
See, why did you have to go to this exhibition this very day when you have taken an off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yes, my uh, advice would be to take that pause, stop for a while, see what
Hmm.
do you truly want, because
Hmm.
making money comes from so many beliefs that we are
Yeah.
surrounded with, right? And also, when you do the work, when you do that inner work, when the
Hmm.
inner landscape changes, of course your reality will start shifting. It will start
True.
shifts. So
True.
this is what I can tell people to leave jobs and run the world on their own.
Absolutely. I think this is the right time. We are in the, we can look at it two ways. We are in the midst of a conflict which is political and social in nature, which also has recession coming over. I recently talked about recession. Or we can look at it as an opportunity for the growth of more and more people who would want to exercise their thoughts and beliefs about how they want to believe about the world. And this is the advent of more and more spiritual entrepreneurs coming into the picture and coming into the surface.
Yes.
So,
Uh,
hmm,
I want to add one thing here. So,
hmm,
in my initial years of practice, one-on-one practice, when I left job and when I
yeah,
started practicing, I heard so many comments from licensed therapists,
hmm,
psychiatrists, clinical psychologists that you can't charge this much amount.
right.
You can't charge X amount of money. You are in Guwahati. You have to really try to understand the condition of people
Every
living
person
here.
from places that they think are small and inaccessible, I want you to hear to this properly. Yes.
So I have people coming in from most remote areas, not only from Assam, but not only from Guwahati, but from entire Assam,
Hmm,
who are paying me my current fee.
hmm.
And I cannot see a point that they are not being able to afford. It is just a matter of what are you willing to get out of yourself, get from yourself, what change are you willing to see in yourself, right?
And prioritizing it, right?
Prioritizing it, yes, absolutely. So I simply can't uh, resonate with the statement that you can't charge X amount of money when you are
Hmm.
here in Guwahati. No,
Wow.
that would be a big no.
Wow. Wow. Or in any other place,
Yes,
that you
yes,
think that is inaccessible, the geography doesn't exist, the geographical conditions are not congenial, or the audience does not exist, um,
Yes. For example, I have clients in the US, in the UK. The amount they are paying me, I have the same amount receiving from client who have come from very remote areas in Assam,
in Assam, yeah, or in the Northeast,
in the Northeast.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is that is amazing, and of course we would want more and more clients to reach out to you from all parts of the world. And you are an example, Alankrita, of being wherever you want to be, or you are, and being that epicenter. And just like Jim Lee said, that you can be anywhere, but you can radiate out from that place. And the more you're willing to believe, the more you are going to create people around you from the farthest corners of the world, right? So as you said, you are an example of being this person who has chosen to be where you are. And then you have clients from everywhere, from US, from UK, from the remote corners of Assam and Northeast. So this is a huge example, and we would want more and more people to reach out to you for one-on-one work. So Alankrita, where do people find you? Please tell us that.
The holy Instagram. They can find me in Instagram. My Insta handle is Alankrita, holistic psychologist, holistic psychotherapist. So yes, and if they Google my name, they can also reach out to me via Google.
Can you spell out your name so that people can search you?
It is ALANKRITABHUYAN. Alankrita. Yeah.
Great. So I think this was one hell of an episode. Thank you so much, Alankrita. Thank you so much, Suniti. Thanks a ton, Jim Lee, for making out time. And I know that all of you are, again, super caught up, super busy, and you have your own work. People have to, I know that all three of you have waitlist and people working with you. And thank you so much for making time for this podcast, for this episode. And I think this whole episode itself is like a huge coaching session of three coaches drilling your brains out. So thank you so much. Thank you, Jim Lee. Thank you, Suniti. Thank you, Alankrita.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really hope people enjoy it and people listen to it. I know that it's a bit long, but if you put your brain and ears to it, you are going to get like diamonds and golds out of it, right? So, and I would, of course, wait to hear your comments, your feedback on how this episode made you feel. And if you are someone considering and thinking of becoming a coach or a practitioner, or someone who wants to take up alternative practices or spiritual healing, and you're still considering, I think this episode should be that propeller, be that accelerator that helps you to make that decision right now, today itself. So don't delay. Go ahead, become a coach, make money, right? And I'm going to speak to you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and are willing to change your business and money reality, head to my free coaching community on Facebook called You Are Money. Link is in the show notes. And do not forget to leave a review on Spotify.com or Apple Podcast. Thank you so much.